Should you buy Just Cause 3 in 2021? The game released about 6 years ago and was received pretty well by critics and fans of the franchise alike. We'll praise the game for its unique gameplay and how it takes on such innovative and explosive gameplay. It definitely was a giant leap forward for the series, especially coming from Just Cause 2. Just Cause 2 wasn't bad at all, but Just Cause 3 definitely expanded and improved on it quite a lot in all aspects. But let's see whether the game is still worth buying 6 years after its release. Today we'll be talking about both the narrative and gameplay of Just Cause 3, all spoiler free. Just Cause 3's story is pretty good, but I'll straight away state that the game is definitely not a story-based game, and instead the story is more of a backdrop for the amazing and engaging gameplay to take its center stage. I'll give a little bit of a story summary without spoiling anything major for the game's plot. General Di Ravello had taken over the fictional nation of Medici when the main character Rico was still a child. Rico's parents were killed during Ravello's takeover of the nation, but Rico managed to escape and eventually joined the Agency, a group of people who strive to protect the free world by overthrowing dangerous dictatorships such as Di Ravello's and installing US-friendly heads of state. Several years after the chaotic events of Just Cause 2, Rico has left the Agency and traveled back to his home nation, back to Medici, to fight Di Ravello in the fateful Medici Civil War. Di Ravello had been planning for decades at this point to use Medici's unique explosive and magnetic material called Bavarium, along with his vast military power, to conquer the entire world. But there is a rebellion fighting against him, but it has been failing until you, the main character Rico, shows up. That's a small synopsis of the game's main narrative, and as stated previously, it isn't that amazing and definitely isn't mind-blowing at all. It's more of just an average and stereotypical story of one man just taking down an entire dictatorship. The story was good enough though for you to want to see where the game takes the characters and world of Just Cause 3 next, and how they all progress with one another. I did really like the story of the game, but to be honest, it isn't memorable at all, and it definitely wouldn't be a good choice to buy the game based on the small merits of its story alone. But instead, you want to buy the game for its gameplay, but it's good to have a story that isn't unbearable and is still worthwhile while enjoying the game's chaotic gameplay. Just Cause 3 is an action-adventure game set in the third-person perspective, and the gameplay makes you fly around a large, beautiful, and diverse open-world environment, the fictional nation of Medici. A variety of different tools and gadgets are also provided to you for the traversal mechanics within the game's environments. Just Cause 2's signature features, which include the grappling hook and parachute, reappear in this game with many improved mechanics in the way that it works. There is so much damn focus on creating chaos within the military of Di Ravello's biggest forces, and exaggerated physics also remain from the last game, with such wacky and hilarious ways to take out enemies in such creative and unique ways, grappling enemies together and making them fly to the top of a skyscraper as they fall all the way to their death. A new wingsuit is introduced, which allows the player to traverse the world fast without a car, and it's really fun utilizing the suit to fly around the expansive world of Medici as you gaze upon all the chaos and destruction that you can cause along the way to your objective. Utilizing the wingsuit, grappling hook, and parachute will ultimately make the game's mechanics feel a lot more fun, and traversing the world is just as fun as creating lots of chaos within the enemy bases. In addition to the new gadgets introduced by this game into the series, much more lethal weapons such as assault rifles, missile launchers, shotguns, and RPGs with many different vehicles such as fighter aircraft, planes, ships, and exotic cars also featured prominently within the game, with the vehicles and weapons allowing you to create even more chaos in the nation of Medici. Vehicles can also be used and upgraded and customized to the point where you're able to use them as weapons themselves, with tanks and cars with automatic machine guns also available for the player if they wish to create the uttermost levels of chaos and destruction. Many other game mechanics have also been overhauled and largely improved to make the combat, the traversal, and the overall gameplay of this game possibly the best that the series has to offer. One of the most fun and chaotic mechanics that was added onto an existing gadget, which is the grappling hook. You are now able to tether multiple objects together with the gadget, which means you can tether any two things together, meaning if you want to tether a moving car with an enemy soldier, you can go right ahead and do that, making the enemy fly through the sky while you do that. And the wacky physics and mechanics of the game also contribute to how hilarious and chaotic the tether tool can really become. It's such a good vessel in creating the uttermost levels of destruction wherever you go, and for me it's easily one of the greatest and most fun tools to utilize in the game due to its endless opportunities to create as many explosions and deaths as you want. The actual main gameplay of the game and mission structure mainly consists of liberating different towns and enemy bases that are featured across the game's large open world, and you've got to do a variety of different things to take that town for the rebels, such as destroying propaganda, enemy police stations, and generally creating as much destruction as you can to achieve your goals. Player creativity and destruction is so heavily implied within the game to the point where you will be using all the tools of Rico, going around the world messing around because of how fun the gameplay, combat, and traversal is. Being able to destroy anything in the game, such as bridges and statues and many other destructible surfaces that will allow you to take out your foes in whatever way you want. For me, I think the greatest part of the gameplay of Just Cause 3 is the endless amount of opportunities to create and destroy whatever you want as you fly through the game's beautiful vistas and environments, as you slowly add your own flair to those environments, setting them on fire, exploding them, knocking out enemies, taking aircraft and missiles with you as you create utter chaos, destruction, and pure joy for yourself. The game's gameplay is 100% the main reason that you would buy the game, and overall I think that the gameplay itself has enough merits of its own. The game, even at its most hefty prices, even in 2021, is still worth it, especially if you want a game that is just pure fun, not a game where you have to become emotionally attached to a world or cast of characters. I myself have spent over 100 hours traversing the world of Just Cause 3, and most of that time has been spent on destroying as many things as I can instead of focusing on the game's main narrative and missions. The gameplay is innovative, unique, and super fun, and for that reason it's probably the best in the series thus far. So yes, you should absolutely buy Just Cause 3 in 2021, as the game is just really engaging with its awesome gameplay, its explosive fun that is to be had in its giant sandbox world. There's lots of opportunities for utter chaos to ensue, and a story which complements the gameplay well enough to the point where you still want to see how it's played out. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope I was able to convince you to buy or play this incredible video game. The game is also really cheap now, with it being under $10 on many different platforms, and it goes on sale all the time on PlayStation and PC, with me seeing that it was even $3 on Steam during a sale, which at this point is just an absolute steal. Let me know what you think about Just Cause 3 if you already played it down in the comments below, and let me know whether you bought the game because of this video. Anyway, that's all from me for today's video. Peace.